Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. We're back with you with another episode. This time we're going to be talking about the NBA. It is All-Star season. The All-Star game is rapidly approaching. It'll be here in a few weeks. The starters were named a few days ago. We have some other stuff to talk about in the NBA. It's actually been a while since we talked NBA, and it's been way too long. We missed the Ja Morant stuff. We missed the Trae Young stuff, which that's on us. But now we're back, and we'll be more consistent with NBA. As the trade deadline comes, isn't it in like 2 weeks or so? The deadline?
I believe so. It's after the All-Star break. Is it right before?
It's before. I think it's before the All-Star break.
So when did we change this? Because do you guys remember when DeMarcus Cousins got traded at All-Star weekend? You guys remember that? He got like the media day and like they're whispering in his ear.
Yeah, because somebody that came up to him, John told you and then he started talking about, I love New Orleans.
That's what I'm saying. So when they changed that, because I feel like there'd be so much collusion going on All-Star weekend without anyone knowing about it.
That they made it happen before, so that would like you have that week and a half to get accustomed to your new team before, I think.
Fair. The trade deadline is February 5th, which is in like literally like 2 weeks, and then All-Star weekend is in February 13th through 15th. So the trade deadline is approaching. We really should talk more about that. But today we're going to be talking about Jimmy Butler tearing his ACL and what it means for the Warriors' future. The Knicks struggles since hoisting the NBA Cup championship. The Clippers surging back into relevancy this season in the play-in race. Charlotte looks like they're turning the corner, being a much better team over the last 18 games. Detroit holding the number one seed and what they can do to take advantage of their record and actually compete for something significant this season. So that's what we'll be talking about today, and also some All-Star stuff as well. So before we get into it, make sure you guys like the video. Comment where your team is at this point in the season, your thoughts on your team, where they are this season, and follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen. We're going to hop right into it, though. We got breaking news. We got some devastating news for Warriors fans. Jimmy Butler tore his ACL, and he'll be out for the remainder of the year. He's probably going to be out to about this time next year as well. It is a long recovery period, and he is up there in age as well. So obviously a really big blow for the Warriors this season. So we're going to talk about what this means for their future. We got Stephen Curry at the end of his career, Draymond Green at the end of his career. Stephen Curry has still been performing like a top 10 player in the NBA over the last few seasons, and yet the Warriors have not been able to capitalize on him still being great this late in his career. So, Katie, you're the guest today. Where should the Warriors go from here now that Jimmy Butler is out for the season and probably going to be out for most of next season?
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's really two routes. There's the smart route, and then there's probably what's going to happen. And the smart route, obviously, the Warriors are cooked. Like there's no path to contention this season. There's probably not really a path to contention next season. Like to be able to build unless you get Giannis, I mean that's like it. But to be able to actually build the team you need to contend next season is even still just going to be so low. And Steph is already, 38, 37, 38, around there. Like it's at a point where it's just, this injury really cooks them. Like you can go make like a margin move, like move JK for some type of role player piece or something along those lines. But that's just going to be you saying that's the second option. That's just us. We're going to try to do right by Steph because he like 10 times the value of this franchise. Like he brought us 4 championships. He's the greatest player in our history. He's one of the greatest players of all time. So we're going to try to do right by him. But that's not the smart move. Smart move is you just rebuild. You immediately go into rebuild. You look to move certain pieces. Like they got guys, I mean, that you could get some stuff for. Moody has played great this season. You could definitely get something for him. JK, I honestly don't know. Like I personally think JK is not a good basketball player. So it's like maybe a team takes a flyer on him. I don't know what you'll get back. But I mean, they got a couple guys that you can get. You can get some type of like draft compensation back for him. Draymond, I think, if Dre wants to be traded, I think you trade him. If not, I mean, you just kind of hold on to him. Probably let him and Steph just like ride off into the sun together. But I could see Dre in Phoenix on the Suns. They're building like a defense first culture over there, and Dre obviously has ties with the owner. The owner has literally been on his podcast before. Got ties with Booker. Like Booker's also from Michigan, so it's there's ties there. So I could see Dre. I could see the Suns trading for Dre if he is like, I don't want to just ride off into the sunset. I want to keep like competing. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's like the best case scenario for them is it comes summertime and Giannis is like, I'm not signing an extension with Milwaukee. And then Milwaukee has no choice but to trade him. He said he's not going to ever request a trade. That's like some fugazi shit, because what he's just going to do is not sign the extension. And not signing the extension is the same thing as requesting a trade. Like at that point, Milwaukee's like, okay, we have to trade you. You're not staying here. So it's essentially the same thing. They move Jimmy's expiring contract and whatever assets they can get for Giannis, if they can manage that. And that's like the only saving grace really left out there for them. I wouldn't trade for Anthony Davis. It's just not worth it. You can't, like you just saw, like you put faith in Jimmy's health, who Jimmy has always not been a healthy player, and it beats you in the ass. So you do the same with AD, probably just going to the same problem, and you're going to have to pay AD if you want to keep him around. So, yeah, the long story short, they're cooked.
I've seen that Jimmy Butler for AD trade, and then they give the Mavericks some draft assets. I actually don't hate it. I mean, it depends on how many like picks they have to give up. Maybe if they give up if they give up their 2026 pick or something like that, and then trade Jimmy for AD, and then AD comes back and try to be healthy for a playoff run.
But are you doing? If you do that, you have to pay AD. Like
no, you definitely do. Yeah. And his contract is.
Are you paying AD?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, especially knowing Steph and Dre's age, like that's the problem.
Max, you haven't been here in a while. Was on vacation, so I don't want to say you're a guest, but
Don't say I was on vacation the whole time. Okay, I just got back to school, so I got a lot of shit going on as of recent. But yeah,
what do you think is next for the Warriors, and how would you address like Jimmy Butler's going down with injury and your next step forward, basically?
I mean, we've talked about this a little bit. What was the year Mike Dunleavy took over?
2023.
Yeah. So.
I mean, obviously, Steph Curry and the Warriors have been an amazing pairing for the last 16 years, right? Jeff, in 2009. He's been amazing for the team. Obviously, Draymond, Clay, like that big three was great. They won their three rings. Steph got his fourth later on. Like, again, this team is nothing but a success. But the catastrophic mismanagement, in my opinion, of the second half of Steph's career, I think it is a huge missed opportunity in Golden State, with missing up on all three of the Moody, Kuminga, and James Wiseman picks, along with, in my opinion, just poor moves in free agency. And the Jimmy Butler move, which just screamed desperation I don't think anyone thought this move was going to be that monumental for the long run. And I like Jimmy Butler a lot, but they didn't have the assets, I think, to really go all in on a star like that, especially one at that age of his career. And when you start, what was his contract? What the extension was 2 years, like $100 million?
$120 million.
Yeah. So I don't see that working. And again, unfortunately, you can't plan for injuries, obviously. But they had the opportunity to, again, you could retool Steph. Steph, for the last 10 years, has been a top 1-2 point guard in the league, has been a top 10 player in the league, has been great come playoff time. Steph has been everything you've asked of him. And the pieces you've put around him, you tried to hold on to the past. You still have Draymond on the team. You still have some pieces. Gary Payton comes back. Like, you try and keep this going, but then you trade Clay. Like, I don't get the ideas and the moves they're making. And again, they just had such a great opportunity. Imagine if they hit on one of their three picks. Again, right after Moses Moody, Şengün and Trey Murphy went a few picks after. after Kuminga, you had Franz Wagner. Like, if you would have gone with a Franz Wagner and Şengün, and again, this is 2020, I understand, but like, what could have been? What could you have built around Steph? Like, they've been looking for a center for years. So when I look at this team now, again, I think the desperation plays need to be over. Again, they're never going to trade Curry, so you got to do what you can, I guess, to keep him safe. You owe him that. But like, I think we see the rumors of Golden State trying to go for these stars every year, and nothing seems to happen. Golden State, I feel, is a good free agent destination. People want to play with Steph. People like Golden State. Giannis is probably the biggest name out there who's like said he wants to play there, and nothing seems to move. And again, Giannis is not some easy player to trade for. I'm not saying that, but I really think that it is on Dunleavy's part. They still keep Steve Kerr around. And I feel like he's almost, people think, on the way out. Like, they're holding true to their guys, which I respect. They have loyalty to them, but like, the moves they're making is just putting this team way, way farther back. And a team that 10 years ago I thought was probably one of the best ran organizations in the league, I think is shown themselves to be very questionable with a lot of their recent moves.
I'll say, like, and Warriors fans won't want to hear this at all. Like, at all. I don't think this is something they want to be told, but they should take this season. They should take the season. It's over. It's hard to put in words how impactful Jimmy Butler is for this team, how integral he is for this team. His numbers don't pop off the screen at you, and they never really have, especially in the regular season. But they have an 8.2 net rating with Jimmy on the floor and a negative 0.3 with him off. Well, a negative 3.6 with him off the floor. That's an 11.8 swing. He's been incredibly impactful for the team in his minutes. They won his minutes handily. And they have the 5th hardest remaining schedule right now, sitting at 25-19 without Jimmy Butler for the rest of the season. So they're going to be bad naturally. I think that they shouldn't be trying to win whatsoever. They cannot operate anymore thinking about Steph or Draymond. Like, that's over. They have no chance of winning the title anytime soon, no matter what moves they make. They have all their picks going forward, and they have $145 million coming off the books after next season. They need to tank, get as good of a draft pick they can in a really good draft, and then try to run it back, I guess, next year if Jimmy can come back at some point in the season. They get some more clarity in the offseason. But this season, I think, is shot. There's no chance of them competing no matter what they do. They've already came out and said they're not looking to trade Jimmy. Mike Dunleavy said he's not planning on trading Jimmy, even though I guess everything's on the table. But it's going to be very hard to find a team willing to trade for a 37-year-old player on a $55 million contract coming off a major injury. They are out of options, and I think their only feasible option is to tank this season, get as good of a draft pick as you can, and head towards a rebuild after Steph's last year. Give Steph and Draymond their farewell tour. Give Steph and Draymond their farewell tours, and then when Jimmy come back, he give him a little mini farewell tour too as well, and just go into a new era. They're not in the worst position. They're not in the worst position ever. Like, they at least have their draft assets. Obviously, they don't have any young talent outside of Brandon Podziemski. But they're in a solid position for a rebuild off the fact that they have their own picks. So get a good draft pick this year and hit on that draft pick, and then you can start your rebuild. I feel like obviously the 2021 and 2020 draft classes really set them back because they drafted pretty much they drafted a bust in James Wiseman, and then Kuminga, he's an NBA player, but he's not a very impactful one. And Moses Moody is a rotational player at best. So they had 3 lottery picks and did not get a starter out of any of them. So that's unfortunate. And it explains why drafting it, on the margins and making good picks are very vital to extending championship windows and extending a team being good. That's pretty much all I see. I think they should take the season pretty much and position themselves the best for rebuild. They can't operate what's best for Steph at this point. They have to operate what's best for the Warriors. Q?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. Like Max said, since that last draft, the 2021 draft, I guess.
2021.
Yeah, when they missed on everything, since then they've been downhill. They won a championship, so that like made people gloss over like what was wrong with the team. But they just been pretty much making bad moves, either sticking with their people or not like moving off people when they should have. And that like I said, bit them. Then they end up getting stuck in a 360 deal with Jimmy Butler. Now he hurt, he gone. Probably will miss most of next year. Got to try to move off his money. Like Latif said, I agree they should tank. Try to see if they get a great prospect in this draft if they have their pick. Otherwise, pretty much the Warriors and Steph career, Draymond career, their career is pretty much done from this point on because if they're not going to get traded, they're just going to be in a downward spiral. There's nothing really much they can do other than trade out of that.
I said when they I didn't like the deal when they did it. I said it like $60 million for Jimmy Butler.
I was on that side. I was never a big Jimmy. Like I told you, he dropped 30 game one. He was never gonna do that again. Like he never did.
He's been very impactful for them. So it's not even like if he was giving them this level of impact at 25 for the next like 15 to 10, 20, oh, 15, 20, next 10 years, he's giving them this impact for like 5 to 10 years. I could get that, but like that was just I don't know. Obviously, it was a short-term contract, and again, they have actually positioned themselves really well to go into a rebuild after Steph is over, like Steph's contract is done, because they had so much money coming off the books at that time, so they can just hit restart. I don't think I've heard MPJ float around for them. I don't think that fixes anything. Anthony Davis is a short-term fix, but like you don't want to pay him that long because he's injury prone. He's getting up there in age. They don't have like many options like to actually like him getting injured. It puts a nail in the coffin. It puts a nail in the coffin for whatever hopes they had this season. My opinion. Let's move into another team that is right now they've been playing pretty poorly and their future is in question as well with some of the moves they've done over the last few seasons. The Knicks. They hosted that NBA Cup championship at the peak of their season. And I think that I made the take at the time that they're the favorites out the East. I remember me saying that. I kind of still feel like that, honestly, with the state of the East. I kind of still feel like that. But they've been winning over the last 18 games or so since the NBA Cup. 7-11, one of the worst defenses in the NBA. KD, what's been going on with the Knicks? How did they fall from grace after winning the championship this season? And then now they can't win a game against a good team. And they've been losing to bad teams, like they lost to Sacramento the other night. What's been going on with the Knicks, and how do they turn it around?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to be careful with some of the – well, this has been a trend the past, like, really since the first season of the in-season tournament. For whatever reason – there's like a winner's curse or like even just like making it to the finals curse. Like after going through it, we see teams just like take their foot off the gas pedal. It's like after going from some type of high leverage basketball, then going back into just regular season, it affects them mentally. But I don't think I think the problem with the Knicks is, like they're 2-8 in their last 2-8. It's exactly just what we know the Knicks are. Like they're not a well-built team to handle the regular season. And the playoff issues, I won't even like get into that. But when your point guard is Jalen Brunson, who is like a great talent, but he's not like a night in, night out, back you to regular season wins type of guy. And your center is one of the worst defenders at his position in the league. And there's just like overall offensive limitations with your point guard in terms of like getting other guys going. It's just going to lead to this. Yeah, they have a worse record than last year, but so do a lot of other teams. Like I'm not reading too much into that. Mike Brown, I think part of the problem is Tibbs figured out what worked with the Knicks, and that is something that through however many games, 43 games, it's clear Mike Brown hasn't figured that out. And honestly, that shouldn't really come at too much of a shock. Like the Knicks are not in it. That's not an easy team to figure out how to get them playing the best brand of basketball because Brunson is not a great playmaker, yet you have guys like Mikal and OG and other guys who can legitimately contribute offensively. But again, it's tough next to Brunson to really get other guys going. And you have Cat who you have to factor in as well. It's just going to take growing pains. I'm trying not to read too much into it again. I think there's a legit curse like with the in-season tournament where teams that like make the finals afterwards just like they crash and burn for a period of time.
Is that what's been happening with the Spurs and some of their players? Or
I mean, like I said, it's happening every season.
OKC was in the final last year and got the chip, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they're a unique case. You know, them and the Cavs. I mean, they both had like ridiculous seasons overall. So
yeah, they got the Thunder got an all-time great player, Max.
A what?
All-time great player, he said. All-time great player.
We'll see if he finishes that way. How many All-NBAs he got?
Oh, I forgot. He's retiring tomorrow. He's retiring tomorrow.
Chill out. Shea gonna end up with like at least 5 first-team All-NBAs. Let's relax.
He's retiring tomorrow.
Is he not about to get his fourth right now?
This is about to be his third.
I'm gonna simply start with
It's gonna be his third.
Great. I mean,
This is not his fourth.
Matter of fact, it'll be his fourth because it was the playing year. It was a playing year, the year to the Mavs that they lost in their last year, 3 straight first team.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna have 7.
it's gonna be his
Steph
fourth.
only got like 3.
Yeah. I mean, that's really not that much. If I'm being honest.
He can't be
honestly,
LeBron, gang.
Luka already has like 5.
Luka got 5. Yeah, Luka's gonna end with like 7. I mean, he's gonna end with like 10. So
yeah, Luka's got 5 and he'll get 6 this year.
Max,
what
do you see? What do you see from the Knicks that they've been struggling so?
I can't lie. I have not paid as close of attention. It's the defense is the issue, and I think that this is the same thing that happened last year. And I'll just preface this with they are fine in my opinion, especially in the Eastern Conference. No one scares me all that much unless somehow by the grace of God, Jason Tatum comes back to full health and plays with Boston with this kind of Jaylen Brown next to him. That's the only team that's really going to scare me. I think the East is wide open. I was with Latif. I took the Knicks for sure at that point in time in the season to be the top dogs. But again, I think you're looking at the Eastern Conference. Detroit's the top team right now. And again, they are a great regular season team. They challenged the Knicks last year in the playoffs. What was it, a 5-game or 6-game?
6.
And like each game was tight. So I was they played it. They had a great series. It was not a blowout by any sense of the imagination, in my opinion. But I think that this Knicks team, I saw a trade about it today, and it'd be intriguing. I don't know what gets it done. But in a world, if you could swap Cat with Jaren Jackson Jr., who is shooting the same from 3-ball, allows you to stretch the floor still. The pick and roll is a little different, but is a significantly better rim protector and defender, all defensive player of the year type guy. I think that's huge. And again, he doesn't move the same way Cat does. And I don't even think they need to do this because I think they will be fine. They can still contend. But we saw it last year. The Mitchell Robinson minutes when he's on there is great defensively, obviously, but it turns into Hack-a-Mitch. And that obviously he might be the worst free throw shooter I've seen in my lifetime. So I very much they're going to have defensive issues. They're going to have to outscore everybody come playoff time, which maybe they can in this kind of East. Again, no one's dominant to the point where I think that they're top dogs. But I didn't think the same thing last year, and Indiana came out and pushed all the way to the finals. So I really think that the perimeter defense will be the issue for them long term. Again, we saw last year in the playoffs, Jalen Brunson and Cat could not play together on the court at the same time defensively. The numbers were horrendous. So if you honestly can't play your best 2 players on the court at the same time, that's not a great recipe. And I'm not going to go about this saying they need to trade for Giannis. Like, I think there's a huge value of having perimeter defenders like Mikal, OG, and Josh Hart without having to trade them all. Having 3 guys who can defend 4 positions is huge. And I think that come playoff time, again, if Mikhail's tired because he's having a great offensive night, you have OG, you have Josh Hart, you have guys off the bench. Like, they have a lot of depth at that wing position to defend. It's just their bigs. And again, you get the great defense with Mitch and you get the horrible offense, or you get the great offense with Cat and the horrible defense. So if you can somehow get,
he's not horrible offense. He's not horrible offense.
Free throw shooting. Sorry. And again, if you're putting him at the free throw line, it's causing your offense to not get the basketball. That's more I'm thinking. Yes, he's insanely inefficient in the paint though, right?
He's one of the best offensive rebounders in the world. So
okay, that's fine. I'm strictly going off the fact that when they put him in the game in crunch time, it turns into a completely different offense because it turns into fouling Mitchell Robinson. So that can't happen. Obviously, you want to run your offense. So if there's a way you can get Jaren for the cheap, for something that's a semi 1-for-1 swap, if you can get Memphis to do it, maybe you do attach a first-round pick, which I think would be more than valuable in the sense that you get a huge defensive upgrade at a minimal offensive downgrade. So I would think about it at least.
My bad. Bradley is in a close game right now, and our players missed a free throw. Anyways,
11-6. Are they 11-6?
No, we're 13-7. Respect us.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But anyways, it's below our standard. The Knicks over the stretch have been a 29th ranked defense, been one of the worst defenses in the league, and obviously their offense has also struggled. Mikhail has struggled. OG has struggled a little bit. He's been average. Cat throughout the stretch, he's been good offensively, but obviously he's been terrible defensively. And I just think that this pairing for the Knicks with Cat and Brunson is not really viable on either side of the ball. It's just not. Offensively, the pairing, while they run it, when they do run it, it's been efficient for the most part. It's been efficient, vacuum offense for the Knicks, but they don't run the Cat Brunson pick and roll enough. They just don't. They don't do it enough. Mike Brown and Tom Thibodeau haven't been able to find a healthy medium with those actions. And defensively, obviously, Brunson is one of the worst defenders in the league. And Cat may be the worst big defender in the league. So that's why this team, even though they made it to the East Conference Finals, and I think they can make it again. I think this team can make the finals because of how bad the East is. Like, the East doesn't have a clear front runner. Well, if it is, maybe it's the Knicks. Because the Pistons, we'll talk about later, their playoff viability is kind of iffy because of their offensive struggles. But that's why they've been struggling, because their defense has been one of the worst in the league. They're giving up 115, 130 to everybody. Sacramento, New Orleans, they're giving up 130 to everybody. Anybody can come in there and get 130 points. Dallas just did it without Anthony Davis. They had Max Christie looking amazing the other night. Like, anyone can score on this team, and that's the issue. When you don't have that defensive floor, it causes for variance, and that's what they've been experiencing this season. So I don't know how they can really change that, because they gave up a lot of assets to put this team together. Where it's the point where they can't really get out of this. Like, they gave up 5 firsts for Mikhail. They signed OG to a massive contract. They traded for Cat, and I don't think Cat's contract is going to be that coveted around the league, because he's a great player, but he's getting paid a lot of money. They can move off Josh Hart potentially, maybe move off of Mitchell Robinson, but Mitchell Robinson is very integral to the team and success. So I don't know. I think they should probably try to start Deuce McBride. I've been a fan of them trying to do that for a few seasons now, and I think it won't change everything, but it will have more success. I think this team's ceiling is still the NBA Finals, but losing to whoever comes out the West. That's pretty much what I think. I think that's a ceiling you want to have for any franchise in this league, but do they have an actual chance, barring injury, to actually win it? It's a very low one, because I think anyone that comes out the West is going to be a better equipped team to actually, win a championship. So that's pretty much my thoughts. I want to ask y'all, should they regret firing Tom Thibodeau in favor of Mike Brown? What do you guys think?
I think it was a lateral move, honestly. I don't think, like I said before, obviously you try to do the Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr type thing. I don't think going from Thibodeau to Mike Brown was that type of move. Like, Tibbs gets you to a solid floor. I don't know if Mike Brown gives you any type of extra boost, in terms of scheme or whatever the case may be, leading the men, whatever the case may be. Like, I don't think there was much difference in terms of level of coaching. I don't think that was the move to make. The real issue, like I said, was defense and roster management, asset management. The team is just, it's an on paper team right now. They're going to be able to score their way to probably to an ECF, but their defense is horrible, so they're not going to ever win anything beyond that. Like like the wing tandem is cool. Like, everybody individually are good. Like, Cat legitimately is a good player. Jalen Brunson legitimately a great player. Like, these players together just don't work, don't fit. People got hype about Yabusele and Clarkson and things. Like, I was part of it too. It just, once as we've seen it, it's just not the same. And Mike Brown wasn't going to change that.
Katie, you think they should regret firing Tom Thibodeau, or something like Tom Thibodeau wasn't the answer, but Mike Brown isn't either, or do you think any coach could have fixed his team to where the point where it's like they reached their ultimate ceiling of winning the NBA championship?
I still think Mike Brown is a good choice. It's just, I think it just needs time. Like I said, this is not the type of roster where like a coach can come in and easily have him clicking like Kenny Atkinson did with the Cavs last season. It's not.
Would he have been your first choice with Mike Malone and Taylor Jackson out, just sitting around?
For this roster, I mean,
because Mike Malone, he's had a non-defensive big and non-defensive guard, and been able to like put some things together. Not that catch Jokic or anything, like in terms of like an offensive player that he can bridge the gap between the defensive situation, but if he's able to like make Cat more of a hub in certain situations to make the offense free flowing, maybe that helps or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying. I think it's tough because he is used to having like a dynamic playmaker, and the Knicks just don't have that. So like that's just kind of a tough sell. I think Mike Brown was like had a closer type of like framework with Fox and Sabonis to what you could get with Brunson and Cat. Like, just because in terms of talent level, like, yeah, Brunson and Cat are better, but they like neither are like great playmakers or anything like that. Sabonis is a much better passer than Cat. Cat has shown like passing flashes and whatnot, but it's like that idea that you don't have a primary, like your point guard isn't a true like playmaker. Like it's not a true like playmaker. Brunson isn't either. So it's like, I think that kind of matches up better. Honestly, like I think Mike Brown was a fine choice. I think it does need time, and I think it'll manifest like, it'll either be two things. It'll be like Mike Brown figures out, and the team as a whole figures out how to play offense off of each other rather than off of Jalen Brunson, or they don't, and they realize, yeah, you just got to blow it up. Like this, despite, like T said, they very well may be the favorites to come out the East, but if they don't figure it out, it's going to be they're going to get embarrassed exactly like they did against the Pacers in the conference finals. So.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I mean, maybe this. I don't really know that any team that's going. I think that it's going to beat them this year, but in the East at least. But yeah, like you said, they got to just give it time. And I think that it's easy to overreact at this point in the season, but I think they'll end up turning it around. They had a stretch like this last year as well, where they struggled, and then they end up turning around in the postseason into the end of the year. The Clippers have turned it around. They started the year off looking like they're going to give OKC Cameron Boozer the best prospect in the NBA draft, and then they look like they're going to give OKC Cameron Boozer, and then they have won 12 of their last 15. They're 12-3 in the last 15 games. Kawhi Leonard is having a career year in these last 15 games, especially. So I want to talk about the changes they made to turn this season around, and if we think they can continue to do it to end a year, and how far we can see them going this season. Katie, talk to me about how they've turned this around. They're 19-23 right now. How they're 12 in the last 15. Kawhi's obviously having a great year, and they are back in the play-in. They are the 10th seed right now.
Yeah, I mean, part of this is it's the old statistical phrase, regression to the mean. Like they were never to begin with as bad as they were to start the season. Like we all had the Clippers comfortably a playoff team, and that's what they were. Like that's the talent level they had. It's not like there were any major, like, yeah, there was some changes from last season to this season, but nothing too crazy outside of losing Norman Powell. And you replaced him with John Collins, and you got Brook Lopez and things like that. But they were never as bad as they were to start the season. Like that was never supposed to be a thing. So it's just been a regression to the mean. They started bad, then they had a really great stretch, and it's going to settle somewhere in the middle, and they're going to be about the team out there were. You got Kawhi's injury now, which obviously throws a wrench into things. And it's not an injury, which is the worst thing with Kawhi. You would rather it be with Kawhi. He has this is the time frame for return. Like it's a grade 2 hamstring strain or ankle sprain or something like that. The last thing you want with Kawhi is, oh, he's having knee pain and we're sending him home. Like that it's honestly just kind of a death sentence, because almost every time that's the case with Kawhi, it's usually long, significant timeout, sometimes even needs surgery. Like I think back to the playoffs when he ended up just going out. They ended up saying he needed surgery after the playoffs. He just sat out however many rest of the games against the Suns and whatnot. And it just comes out after, he needs surgery. It's like torn ACL or partially torn ACL. So yeah, that's why it's honestly the worst news you could ask for. But with the demise of the Warriors, there's more opportunity to rise or stay in the play-in in the West for the Clippers. So I don't necessarily think that they're going to have a problem making the play-in. I think they'll still make it, but you're at a point now where it's Kawhi. Yeah, you've had a great season, but just take however long you need and then come back for the play-in, and we'll see what we can do in the play-in. And then if we can make the playoffs from there, go from there.
They got to try to stay in the play-in race while it depends on how long he's out. Let me look at this road trip for them.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. The demise of the Warriors helps them there, because that's like one essentially kind of less. Like the Warriors will still be able to win games, but they're not going to be as competitive, obviously.
They have the Lakers tomorrow night, which is probably a loss. I mean, they just lost to the Bulls by 28.
They should lose to the Lakers.
Then they have the Nets. They can win that. The Jazz, they can win that. But the Jazz have been competitive at times this year. Nuggets is a loss. Suns is a loss. Well, no, Suns is a loss. Yeah, without Kawhi at least. They're back home on February 2nd against the 76ers. So if he's back by that, then they should be able to, go 2-2 in that stretch, and then be able to tread water a little bit. So we'll see. But I think the Clippers, their defense has been much better, obviously, over this stretch. Kawhi Leonard has been on a tear. He's still obviously an elite scorer. His problem is maintaining his volume and doing it over the course of a 82-game season and then also into the playoffs. But I think over this 18 games, let me see, over the last 20, he's averaging 29.7, 6.8, 3.8 on 63 true shooting percentage. He's been the same for them. So his injury is definitely brutal. But I think this team, I was really high on the team. I thought they were going to be like the 5th seed. I thought they were a dark horse to compete in the West, to make it to the conference finals in the West. Obviously, the overwhelming favorite for me was the Thunder still. But I thought this team, with the additions they made in the offseason, I like the Bradley Beal move, considering how much they had to spend and how much they gave up. I like the Brook Lopez as a backup center role and John Collins as a lob threat next to James Harden. I really liked it. And then it kind of all fell apart with injuries at the beginning of the year, and their defense was terrible. They are one of the slowest teams in the league, so they were getting killed in transition. And so they really struggled to the beginning of the year, but I think that, like you said, they regressed to the mean. And then obviously Kawhi went on that tear, and that kind of propelled them and increased their ceiling. Like he was keeping them in the game single-handedly at certain points. But ultimately, though, I think this year is pretty shot for them. Like they're not competing in this West. This West is insane. So at the end of the day, I do think they don't have like high hopes this year. But again, they're one of those teams where they'll be off the books pretty soon anyway. So at least let this Kawhi era right out to the sunset theoretically, because it's been a disaster in totality. But allowing it to just end without giving up any additional assets, without giving up any additional money, messing up your books, I think that's the right play in the grand scheme of things. Max, are you here? I guess he's not. Q, what are we seeing for the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard over these last 15 games?
I think we just seen the team that, like I said, we thought it was going to be. Maybe it just took some time. I think we just overreacted because we thought, well, we was just dooming about OKC because, they got the pick. We just thought it was just going to be over. They was going to get a great prospect, and they were about to run the dynasty off for the next 10 years. That's what I think was the biggest.
I wasn't doing it. It wasn't me.
I'm not saying I was in that camp, but if it would have went on a little bit longer, they would have had no choice but to try to cut bait on something and try to get back some cap because they don't got nothing. Like, they don't have anything going into, like, the next 2 years without James Harden and Kawhi. So that's what I guess a lot of people were doing, just because of the whole pick situation, they thought it was going to be bad. But eventually, water was going to meet its level, and this team was going to be what they thought they were, and I think that's what we're getting. Hopefully, Kawhi can be there for a playoff run, and then we can really see what this team has, because, again, they don't have no assets, so they have no choice but to be good.
Max, while you was going, I asked you your empty computer. What are you seeing from the Clippers in this last 15 games to propel them to they're a 10th seed right now, firmly in the play-in. Well, not firmly, but in the play-in contention right now. After starting the season terrible, they were going to give you guys Cameron Boozer.
Yeah, it sucks. That fucking sucks. Sorry for my language, because I was loving the idea of putting Cam Boozer alongside this team in the front court. It definitely got way too far into the season, obviously, to see all that. But I don't know. I still, every trade rumor mill I'm looking at is like Michael Porter Jr. is going to get traded, whatever. Kawhi Leonard or James Harden will get, like, there's still a world where one of these guys gets moved if the right stuff goes wrong in LA. And like James Harden, with how he's playing basketball right now, like, again, I didn't think he'd be this explosive. He's obviously a scorer, right? He will always be a scorer. He could be 45 and he can drop 20, 30 in an NBA game just with how he can shoot the basketball. But he's just been, he's averaging 26 right now. Like, he's been so good for the Clippers in the last, season and a half, 2 seasons. So he's been great. Their pieces are finally playing together. It sucks. I don't think it really means much in the grand scheme of things. With Golden State probably dropping out, you kind of get that little bit of a boost. But I'm really not, like, obviously for the Clippers, I'm not scared of them if I'm the Thunder, but it sucks with how you don't get the pick as good as it used to be. But I don't really know. I think with this team, they were so old coming into it. It was kind of a boom or bust year. And with how slow they got started, it kind of didn't really matter anything they do from now on. Like, I don't think that they're going to compete with the top teams in the West, no matter really what happens. So I think there is a world where you look to trade a James Harden or Kawhi Leonard if the right price becomes available. For Kawhi, I just don't think that's possible. I don't think any team's going to be willing to trade you unless they see a full body of work from now.
It doesn't make sense to do that, I don't think.
The only thing for me is that they're trying to pick up any sort of future asset they can for something they know is not going to work, right? So instead of running the team into the ground, off pride, off whatever you want, there's still, maybe you get a first, maybe you get a young piece, something that you can try and build around after this. So I really don't think the Clippers are good. I think that they're that 10 seed. Maybe they get an 8 seed. Like, there's a good chance we play them in the first round. So maybe I think differently then. But this team, obviously with the dysfunction, Bradley Beal's injured, Chris Paul, the whole thing with that, like, it's just been a dumpster fire after what kind of a couple of us, I think, thought was an intriguing team coming into the year.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. But I think that trading Kawhi and given their current situation just doesn't make, or Kawhi or James Harden doesn't make sense. I think James Harden could have some value on the market though. Like a team like the Rockets could definitely use him right now. I don't know necessarily what they'll give up, but the Rockets could use a point guard like James Harden to really tie things together with what they got going on over there. And he's definitely been great this year. He's been a lot more efficient than last year while maintaining the playmaking value and the floor raising value. Zubac he struggled to begin the year, but he's been back to form as well as like a not as good as last year, obviously, but he's been really good as well in his recent stretch. So a lot of it has been talking about Kawhi, but James Harden has been good. So is Zubac. Pardon me. Another team that's been turning the corner recently is the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know how much you guys watch of them, but I watch a lot of them.
They're down 7 in Cleveland right now. They're down 7 in Cleveland right now, though.
Yeah, they were getting blew out in the beginning of the game, so they came back. This team is
crazy.
9-9. Yeah, this may not seem significant, but this team is 9-9 in their last 18 games. I think that's back to like December 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
That's with broad daylight tanking. Like
yeah. So this team has been pretty much a solid NBA team, which is notable for Charlotte as being one of the worst franchises in the league over the last forever actually. But it seems like they're turning it around. I mean, LaMelo is playing much better than he did to begin the year. Brandon Miller he's up and down, but he's had some really bright spots. Concanipple has been a really bright spot for them as a rookie year, leading rookie year. Ryan Kalkbrenner has been good for him. He's been hurt recently, but when he's been on the floor, he's been really good offensively and defensively for them. Sean James off the bench, Colin Sexton, Miles Bridges. That's all I'm gonna say. Miles Bridges.
He's 4 of 11 today.
Yeah. So
respect the third all-time leader scorer in Hornets history, please.
That's incredible. I won't ever respect. I actually won't ever respect Miles Bridges, but he's fine, I guess. But my question to the panel is Charlotte's future brighter than we originally thought it could have been? Because I know with LaMelo's injuries, Brandon Miller's injuries, constantly over this team, and they've been pretty stagnant in terms of being one of the worst teams in the NBA, year in, year out. But now it looks like they're finally like they're close to being something in the East at least. Also, and some people have talked about this, but it needs to be said. Tajane Salon, or however you say his name, has been actually pretty good over the last like a month or so, especially considering how bad he was as a rookie. He's been pretty solid for them over the last like month or so. So I just want to say that. Katie, is that future brighter than what we initially imagined?
It is, assuming that the organization does what they should in terms of Miles Bridges got to go. You got to get a real center in there. You got to like orient the team around LaMelo, Con, and Brandon Miller, and some of the other guys like Salon. And I said from the first few games that Salon was playing for them, yeah, he's raw and he sucks, but you can see what they're going for with them in terms of a guy that can shoot threes, is a good rebounder, and can defend to some degree. Like you could see what they were going for. Don't get me wrong, he was terrible, and he's been terrible a lot. Like his decision making, some of the worst in the entire NBA. But if he just hones in on doing what he's good at, then he can be a good player. The problem for Charlotte is I don't trust their front office. They've not given you any reason to trust them whatsoever. So it's like, why should you? And until they do, like you just can't. So I mean,
didn't they get a new regime here pretty recently?
I mean, like again, I have to be shown reason to trust you. Like it's. I feel
like they've given us some reasons. First of all, this last draft is out.
Drafting and front office are not like, they might be related, but I consider them two separate entities. Like
I want to continue. They had a really good draft this year. Also, I think that if the Mark Williams and move went through, like that's an objectively good deal. Like they would have scammed the Lakers for a first round pick, and then they would have took back Dr. Connect. Pretty good move.
But they failed to. Like that's part of the problem. Is like they literally failed to finish that.
No, it's not. That's where I feel like that's pretty much out of their control. I mean, I don't know what they were.
They definitely had to have had some like failed. They're in negotiations, and they're like, yeah, this dude's completely healthy or something like that. Something had to have happened to where they were like complicit in why, because the league did an investigation and like nothing came of it. So they had to have been complicit somehow in like that falling through.
They also got a first round pick for Terry Rozier. Like they've made a couple good moves. Like Tajane Shalon right now isn't the greatest draft pick at number 6 in the 2024 NBA draft, but that draft was I guess just very hard to evaluate for some evaluators. I mean myself included, I guess. But
not all of us.
I think that they made some pretty solid moves on them. Like obviously they haven't earned your complete trust, but I think they're trending in the right direction. Like compared to the previous regime.
Wait until this trade deadline to say that. Because if they go through this trade deadline and they don't move off of guys, like sure, Grant Williams is cool, he's fun, but he should be on the floor right now playing to up his trade value. And I know
they got so many young guys. They need some vets on that team.
You do, but Grant Williams isn't even really a vet, if I'm being honest. He's like 28 or something like that. Like he's not a real. Is he
the second oldest guy on the team?
Yeah, so that's where you get real vets. Like, I mean,
I get it, but I feel like it's an offseason.
Keeping him just because he has a really good like relationship with I saw something like over Christmas he bought like presents for all the like workers in the arena and stuff like that. So I mean he's like a good guy. So I could see them keeping it just because that. But like Josh Green, he should be out of there. Colin Sexton, like as much as I love him, like he should get moved because he's having a good season and he can like help other teams. Miles Bridges, you got to do something. You cannot go into another season because they're 100% tanking right now. There's no I don't buy for a second. Draymond was on his podcast and a few days ago talking about them playing against Charlotte, and he literally said they're tanking in broad daylight because when they found out that LaMelo was coming off the bench to start the game, he said, and I quote, "They're a super duper 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 easy team to guard when LaMelo's not on the floor," and the numbers all back that up. Like they're not a real basketball team without him. So bringing him off the bench, and on top of that, they've been bringing him off the bench in like staggering his and Khan's minutes. So like they're not out there together, and the LaMelo, Khan, and Brandon Miller minutes are like elite. They're clearly tanking. Like it's obvious. So this trade deadline should tell you if the front office is serious or not, if they move off guys that they should, if they stack up on some assets and things like that. But if they just go through it and don't really do anything, it's like it's a problem. And
how close do we think Charlotte is to being a threat in the East?
Not close. I'm not going to say that. I was just going to simply I don't think they're very close as far as they don't have a lot of the.
We'll say a playoff team is a threat.
They could be a playoff team post deadline. They're one trade away right now from being a playoff team.
But I don't think they're a threat to win the East in my mind.
I ain't gonna say all that. I think they're like comfortably a draft and free agency away.
Not a threat to win the East. I'm saying okay, let me rephrase it. How close is Charlotte to being a playoff team in the Eastern Conference consistently?
By next year, they should be a playoff team after the draft and free agency.
Really close to that.
If they get a decent prospect, if they get if and when they get this top 10 pick, most should be top 5. If they get a top 5 pick and a decent free agency, they will be in the playoffs next year. I don't think that's crazy to say.
If they trade for Nick Claxton at the trade deadline, they're a playoff team.
I think, this team, obviously, like LaMelo is such a great scorer. He's a great facilitator. And you have Khan Knippel, who is the ultimate glue guy, it seems to be, right? If you can get a number one scorer, you have a facilitator. You have Khan who can shoot, who can defend, who can score the basketball. If you get a dominant number one scorer, and you develop that, that's great. I was going to give Latif credit for the Khan pick. Obviously, that shined very well. I'm going to do a half victory lap on Brandon Miller, because I was hated on for a long time by Latif and Jaden.
I'm not gonna lie.
Brandon Miller should go too.
He hasn't been.
Scoot Henderson has not been anything. So that's all I'm talking about. So I don't need.
I'm not letting Latif forget that he said Casey Wallace is better than Brandon Miller.
I still believe that.
I don't honestly think that's. I would take Brandon Miller, but Casey Wallace is Casey Wallace.
Ridiculous. Jason Wallace is a 6'2" guard that can't shoot threes.
Are we trying to win championships?
He has the craziest PR because I promise you he could not play and OKC would be completely fine. He literally goes out there and gets backpacked.
I mean everybody on the team gets that pass.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, trust me, he's super essential to the team, but he's not that essential. Like,
no, super essential.
Brother, Casey Wallace and Brandon Miller swap teams right now, we'd still win the chip. Well, let's cut it out with this Casey Wallace shit. Matter of fact, they love the idea of Brandon Miller right now, specifically.
Yeah, the idea. I don't know if I love the product of the inefficiency. Again, I like Brandon Miller. He's 6 for 16 today. He's 2 for 8 from 3. That's not going to.
We talking about sending out a first-round pick or 2 for Trey Murphy. Brandon Miller could be better than Trey Murphy. Like, they doing the same thing.
Trey Murphy not a better defender than Brandon Miller?
Trey Murphy was a good defender for like half a season.
Is Trey Murphy?
I'm not sure Brandon Miller could be better than him. I'm sorry. I'm not sure that.
Trey Murphy was a good defender for half a season. Yes, he's averaging like 24 points right now. It's on the Pelicans, bro. He's chucking.
He's one of the best off-ball players in the sport.
Brandon Miller at his peak, like what he's gonna be best at is scoring, just like Trey Murphy. Like that's exactly the MO that makes him the most effective. Same way Ace Bailey, like they're the most effective doing things that Trey Murphy do.
Okay, but why would he be better than him, though? Like I don't know how he would be better than him.
I think he was a better player than Trey Murphy.
He was, not now. And
yes. I just think he hasn't been on the floor. And he's playing for the Hornets.
I understand
Trey
that.
Murphy's playing for the Bells.
What does that mean? Now listen. First of all,
it's a little different.
Trey Murphy is like one of the best shooters in the league. And he's like one of the best.
Brandon Miller could be that.
He can be, but like he doesn't provide anything else pretty much to have him open.
What is Trey Murphy outside of a half a season? What else was he providing?
Trey Murphy doesn't provide anything but play finishing. And shooting, that's the same thing basically. Like play finishing.
Brandon Miller.
He's a great off-ball player. At this point, he's a great off-ball player.
My point is Brandon Miller.
What I'm saying is Brandon Miller can be. All I'm saying is Brandon Miller could be that. That's what I'm saying.
Sure, he can, but like, he's not even better. Like he don't.
I thought you were talking about right now.
Brandon Miller.
You don't know that. He was a better player. He was a better player than Trey Murphy. If he could stay on the court, we can see it for a full. We never seen him play full season of games before.
He's not. I don't think he's ever gonna be a level of shooter. I'm not gonna lie. They were kind of like drastically different shooting prospects.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll be the same level of shooter, but I think he can be a better scorer. Like I think he can score in the in between, like coming up and down, things like that.
You think he's better on the dribble?
You said what?
Is Trey Murphy not do that?
Yes, for sure. Yes.
I don't.
Trey can put the ball on the floor too, but I think Brandon Miller is better at that.
Yeah.
I don't mind that take, and I'm looking at what OKC. If we're speaking specifically in OKC terms here, I don't necessarily need someone who can always put the ball on the floor. I need someone who come off screens and everything.
No, we're not even doing that, bro. Like
I thought it was more of an OKC conversation.
Casey Wallace. Oh no, if you're OKC right now, you'd want Trey because he's better. Right
that's
now.
what I thought we were leaning with right now. Because I agree, like Brandon Miller's potential could be there, but today, right now, I'm taking Trey Murphy as a player and a fit.
I don't really think Brandon Miller's potential is that high. I'm not gonna lie.
I do think that he can be a little bit better off the dribble, though. I would agree with that.
Why?
I was really a Brandon Miller hater, and I still am, but to say Casey Wallace is better is just fucking crazy. Like it's just not serious.
Impact winning more, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just not serious.
You want to talk about like he can shoot better than him, yeah. But I think Casey Wallace is one of the like probably 40 best defenders in the NBA.
Casey Wallace is a negative offensive player.
That's probably true. In a half court, yes.
That's probably true.
That's probably true, yeah. But I don't. Again, yeah, I don't know. Not to even get on that, but what I'm about to say. Oh, Brandon Miller isn't good to put the ball on the floor. He's just not. It's not a viable thing for him right now.
Oh, he definitely. Yeah, I don't think he can put the ball on the floor.
But anyways, as far as the Charlotte Hornets, they were my surprise team. I don't know if you remember this, guys. They were my surprise team this year. I thought they could take a jump.
You were the only one. I had them in the plan too.
Because I like their draft for one. I was very high on Kakanipple, so I was not shocked whatsoever that he's being.
If you have Kakanipple top three for rookie of the year, I'm just trying to.
Yeah. But okay. I was very high on Kakanipple coming out.
Not even that high on him.
I guess I had him as a 4th overall pick on my board, and that's where he was. But I've been extremely impressed with Khan. I think that in his rookie season, he's already an extremely impactful player, especially for the Hornets. He is one of the best shooters in the league as a rookie, the best rookie shooter in NBA history. He's a really good all ball mover. He's a good passer. He's high field. And he's not a complete negative on defense. And if Khan can drive neutral defensive value, he's going to be an excellent player because of how talented he is offensively, how smart he is offensively, how good he plays off 2 feet offensively. And so I think he's definitely been their second best player. Well, I mean, in terms of consistency, staying on the floor, playing well, I think he's been their best player consistently.
Hey, yo, must say, stop dancing around it, bro. Just say what you gotta say. You playing silly.
No,
he's better than him. Say it. He's better than him.
Not better than LaMelo. But I think in terms of consistency, in terms of because LaMelo has been playing much better over the last 20 games.
LaMelo literally backpacks that offense. That's just
cool.
the reality.
That's cool. Don't want to pull some numbers, but I think that whatever. I don't really care who the best player on the team or whatever. I think obviously it's LaMelo, but I think Khan has arguably been having the best season on the team. I'm not going to get gaslighted. He's been having the best season on the team.
That's still not true.
Okay, that's cool. Their future
relative to expectations, maybe sure, but it's
okay. We don't really get into all that.
LaMelo's offensive impact on that team has been all worlds, legitimately.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that. I would agree. I'm a numbers guy, and his on and offs are amazing for sure. But as far as their future, I think that they're building a really solid core right now. It's really just hinging on LaMelo's health. And LaMelo can consistently stay healthy. That obviously increases their ceiling, and you got to hit on draft picks. Khan is a hit. We know this. LaMelo is a hit.
Totally, bro.
Ryan Kalkbrenner, I think, is a hit. He has a chance to be a starting center in this league, but probably is more of a backup, but I think he's a good player.
I think he'll be a fun rotational big.
Their draft this year was great.
Yeah, Zion James a hit.
Yeah, he's a good bench piece as well.
Being for real,
I guess. But they got to keep stacking good decisions, stacking good drafts. If they get a high draft pick this year, if they get a lottery pick, I could see them being a playoff team next year. If they get Darren, they get Cam. Also, if they get AJ. They can. All right, let me start trouble.
But Cam is not who they need. Keep it look.
I mean, bro, Cam and LaMelo, man, that's high. Cam, LaMelo, and Khan.
That defense is atrocious, and you would not be able to recover it.
High field hoops. That'd be the best offense in the league one day. But
LaMelo Cam pick and roll would be pretty nuts.
Yeah, so pick and pop too, But I mean, look at how LaMelo setting the screens. That's how versatile Cam is. But my point is, they're not that far away. They got to. Well, I mean, I guess you can say that about a lot of teams, but their trajectory this season has been pretty.
If they trade for Nick Claxton at the trade deadline, where would you have them finishing this season in the East? Assuming they went for it.
I think that matters on what their record is coming out the break.
Jackson are we getting, honestly?
I still don't think they're a top 6 seed, I believe.
No, right now they at 12. They probably finish 9.
I think a play-in's fine.
What's the gap between 12? What's the gap between 12 and 9? How many games?
It's they are currently between 9. Yeah, they're 5 wins back.
They can hawk down 9 if they get Nick Claxton within the next 2 weeks. Anything other than that is probably a too far of a climb. They'd have to go 19-3 in the last 22 to do something. Hey, chill.
Yeah, bro, they're down 9 and they just took out LaMelo and Mikal Bridges.
But that's what I'm saying. They're messing themselves up in the future. These are winnable games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
literally are just tanking in broad. It's insane. The NBA is going to do something about it. It's not this.
But what are they going to hurt the draft odds or something, or take away a second?
They're going to do something because this is a national TV game. Like Charlotte doesn't get national TV games. This is a national TV.
The only way to get rid of tanking is to put the stipulations on there, and then you got to like make it like the NFL. Worst team get the first pick, but you can't get it like consecutive years.
All right. Let's move on to Detroit. They hold the number 1 seed right now in the East. But a lot of the talk has been about their playoff viability. I'll start here. I think that Detroit obviously is an excellent team. They're a very good team. They've been making steady improvement over the last 2 seasons. They have one of the best defenses in the league, and Cade is a starter as an all-star game, having a great year, man. Cade is looking like a top 10 player in his association right now, for sure. But for the Pistons to actually be, I think, a real threat to make the finals, they have to make probably a few moves at the deadline. This team does not have enough shooting whatsoever. I think this team's offense is going to struggle in the playoffs. Whatever team they play in the playoffs is going to just basically trap Cade, send a lot of pressure to Cade, and make other teams or make other players make decisions, make other players handle the ball. This team does not have enough secondary ball handling. They don't have enough shooting. They don't have enough creation outside of Cade. This is basically a heliocentric offense built around Cade and Jalen Duren's pick and rolls. And while that has been an extremely successful action for this team's offense, it's too one-dimensional, and it will get stopped in the playoffs. They are going to be competing in the playoffs regardless because of how well their defense plays, how well they rebound, stuff like that, how their motor and how hard they play. But this is not a serious playoff team. I'm so serious. Like, this team will probably be losing in the second round. It is. They don't have enough creation. They don't have enough offense. And when the margins are much slimmer in the playoffs, when teams
they could lose in the first round. Like,
it depends on who they play.
The Cavs could very well see them in the first round. Like, that's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, if the Pistons hold the 1 seed, the Cavs are not gonna be a seed, bro. I'm telling you, they're not. But we're not doing that. But
hey,
this team has to make a move for shooting and more creation on the perimeter. Just try to get a look at like Malik Monk, potentially a Michael Porter Jr. Maybe some other options. I don't know, but they have to get more shooting and more creation to be a serious playoff team, or they're going to stay stagnant. Because I think they should be looking to move. See if teams are interested in Jaden Ivey. See if teams are interested in Tobias Harris, and see what you can get done at the deadline.
It's frustrating to see Lauri Markkanen in jail in Utah, because I would like Lauri on this team.
He's not in jail. He wants to be there. He wants to be there. It's not jail.
I get it. I'm just saying the price tag for Lauri has been insane. He's been on the trade block for years, and I feel like this kind of team where they have so much defense already, you don't need him to defend. He'll grab rebounds, he'll shoot, he'll score. I think that'd be a great spot for him, and it'll just never happen. So,
no, I agree. There is that type of creation hole that Lauri Markkanen, well, not creation, but like offensive hole that Lauri Markkanen can fill.
Forward score.
He's also making a lot of money. He's making a ton of money. Like, he's making a ton of money.
That's fine, but how much Tobias Harris making?
Nowhere near close. $20
million.
I'm saying
Tobias Harris adds to that. You can have what, 2-3 guys. He's making $30-40 million a year.
Yeah, but he's Tobias is expiring. Like, you're gonna be paying Lauri.
That's the money you're gonna have to make work. Like,
they definitely should be trying to trade Tobias because maximize his expiring contract. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you're not keeping him around. I mean, I think I've said like they should probably go for guys who are cheaper. Like, I'm not overpaying for Michael Porter Jr., not overpaying for Lauri. If the Pelicans are gonna like want to charge an arm and a leg for Trey Murphy, then like I'm not overpaying for Trey Murphy. I would go for like Memphis blowing it up. Is Santi Aldama available type of thing? The Lakers, if you're like moving Rui, we'll take Rui because he's an elite corner shooter and can help our shooting. Like, I think it's more of those type of trades rather than like you try to make a big swing, because a big swing is going to mess up the team's like chemistry and dynamics, what has them at the 1 seed, and I don't think you want to do that.
I agree, but that's also what they're missing. Like, I don't know if this and again, all this stuff kind of goes out the window when we think of Indiana last year and how they were able to play so well as a team. They still had 2 stars, and I don't think Detroit has another second star like you'd say Pascal or Tyrese is, whoever you want to put.
I mean, Jalen Duren will be an all-star this season, but he's not
he's not at that like play creation level. He's not that dominant of a finisher. Like he is not the person you're going to pass the ball to win the game kind of thing. So they need somebody, and I agree with you. That's fine. Like you don't have to do it right now. You don't have to rush it. But that is who are you going to put next to Cade? Because again, Cade can be the dude. He's an all-star starter this year. Like he is the guy. But who are you going to put next to him? Because, again, you need the Batman and Robin as much as you can. Because I like Duren, but I don't think Duren's going to be that the whole time.
There's like options out there. Like there's it's the MPJs, the Trey Murphys, but then it's like the expensive options, but they're not also like Laurie's expensive, but he fits. But like again, he's expensive. Same thing. I said Zach LaVine's not a super impactful player, but I think Zach LaVine's also expensive. But I think he does the same exact thing. I don't need him to defend because the infrastructure is well. He's just 20 points per game, can get a shot by himself, can shoot the ball. But you're just taking a risk with a lot of these players. I think like the cleanest fit probably get like an MPJ or something like that, somebody low cost and not like super expensive. If it's one pick, cool, but we're not giving up
MPJ,
3 picks and like $50 million of salary.
MPJ is only expensive for this year, so like, what depends? He might actually you got to resign him, and then
he's gonna command.
He's not like he's if you resign him, he's not gonna. Well, he's gonna get 40 a year.
40?
Yeah. Mikal Bridges got 40, so he's gonna be looking for 40.
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't.
20. He's like 24 a game. He's gonna be looking for 40 mil.
That would be.
So like, it's a first round pick for MPJ, and like you got to give him 4 years, 160, or you take Zach LaVine for pennies, extend him, but you giving him like 30 mil a year. Zach LaVine 30 mil a year from his 50 wherever he's at. But it's like Zach LaVine got a bad stigma attached to his name because of Zach LaVine. But like Zach LaVine next to Cade, I don't think it's that much of a problem as long as you still got Duren and like Ron Holland and like a couple of other ancillary pieces. But if you got to give up Ivy, and if they really want a star, give it to them. But they can't have like Ron Holland. Like you got to keep one of the two.
Star. No.
Zach
LaVine, you can have take Ivy, and I give you Ivy in like a second or two.
Ivy Tobias. That's it.
Boom. If the money works, I'll take that right now. Boom.
Next.
I won't even think twice, to be honest. I'll be perfectly content.
Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, as everybody knows, as we mentioned before, the All-Star game is coming up in, I think, a month. Just under a month, probably 3 weeks. So this year, I think, is maybe the most intriguing All-Star race yet. Again, guys like LeBron, guys like Steph, guys like Kawhi, again, are probably making the team, are up there. Steph's a starter, but a lot of new guys are coming into the light right now. So I have 2 and 3 players, and I will give you names. You need to tell me which of the 2 or 3 deserve to be an All-Star over the others. Everyone good with this concept? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone go with this? All right. So for a East front court position, do you think Evan Mobley, Karl Anthony Towns, or Jalen Duren deserves the spot the most?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, it's Karl Anthony Towns.
Who?
Cat,
Mobley,
that
first name should not be there. Or that second name should not be there.
Cat. Not close to Duren in the slightest.
No. Duren, I had to think about Duren for a second, personally.
It's like 75-25 Cat. Duren's had a cool season, but it's a cool season.
I put Mobley in for a little Latif bait to see if he'd bite any Evan Mobley thing he could. Next up, we have 2 Western Conference guards. Austin Reeves, who has fallen off since his hot start, and James Harden.
Off games played has got to be Harden.
Yeah, the games played is Harden. But
I was not taking off games played. I'm talking about pure talent. Again, there's a couple guys on here who might make it, might not. I was going off pure numbers, pure play on the court. That was my thought.
I think James Harden has been incredibly impactful for the Clippers. Like he was playing, he been playing well all season, and even when they weren't winning, it necessarily obviously wasn't because of him. I'm gonna go James Harden.
Was it a hard tweet? Katie, you answer?
Yeah, it's hard. Like Austin had a great start to the season, but I gotta see like he didn't do it for enough games. Like I don't know if he's sustaining that. So
Next up, we have two more bigs, but out west. We have Alperen Şengün and Chet Holmgren.
Chet.
Sengun.
Chet. It's Chet.
Chet, I believe in.
Chet has been arguably the best defender in the world for like a month.
I think he's leading DPOY voting, by the way, right now.
Yes.
Drake. Chet has been arguably the best defender in the world for like the last month or so.
Draymond.
His rim deterrence is insane right now. He's also been really efficient offensively. So that two-way ability right now, like the value he provides on both sides of the ball, is just better than Alperen Şengün, I think, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
This next one, I'm slightly switching up the question. Not necessarily who deserves it. Who do you think will get the spot between two forwards out in the West and LeBron James and Lauri Markkanen?
LeBron.
Yeah, the Jazz aren't good. Like, if the Jazz were good, maybe there'd be kind of more of a combo. But yeah, the Jazz.
I was trying to figure out if there's any way that LeBron does not make an All-Star team. So I don't think there's a chance.
Never that. It's LeBron James, man.
If they hold him, I mean, possible.
Last up, we have three, I'd say, breakout players in the last year or two, and that is Norman Powell, Michael Porter Jr., and Jalen Johnson. I would like you guys to rank these 1, 2, 3.
JJ.
Jalen Johnson for number one.
Yeah, clearly.
I thought that'd be the consensus.
Jalen Johnson, Michael Porter Jr., and Norman Powell.
That's exactly what I have it in. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm going to put Norman Powell over MPJ just because the Heat are a better team. And that's the only reason.
All right, that's going to do it for our episode 164, our latest NBA episode. We'll be back to you guys tomorrow with NFL predictions for the AFC and NFC Championship this weekend. Stay tuned for that. We love y'all. We are
Big Drake.